there, it's Nancy from Nancy's Pampered Kitchen, and I'm getting ready to do some sous vide fire roasted chicken today. So I've added the water to the pot and into the multi-cooker, deluxe multi-cooker from Pampered Chef, and set the time to 2 hours and the temperature to 145. And now I've got the seasonings ready for the chicken. It's a bit of garlic powder, black pepper, salt, and I'm just going to rub that in. Whoopsie doodle, sorry about that. Rub it in on one side, and then I'll season the second side. And then I'm going to put these into a resealable silicone bag that we have, the large one. And I'll just dump the rest of the seasoning on top. If I've dropped some, I'll just wipe that up. So I'm just going to put it into the large silicone resealable bag. You can also use, sprinkle a little bit more on that one. You can also use a Ziploc freezer bag to do this. I want the chicken to lay nice and flat. And then the next trick, and I'm just going to clean that off. I'll slide this to the side. I got a little bit of seasoning on the outside of the bag. All you want to do is make sure that to the best of your ability, and this has a zipper close, as you can see, you push all the air out. So I'm actually going to fold it and try to keep the chicken as flat as I can. You can also displace the air putting the bag in some water, and that's another way to get the air all displaced out of the bag. Little easier possibly in the plastic Ziploc than in the silicone, but if you want to have a reusable bag, this is a great alternative. And then a little bit of air left. I want to flatten that chicken out a little bit. Got a little bit of air in there still, so I'm just going to open one corner, push that air out to the best of my ability, and zip it up. And then I'm going to open the lid, because as you hopefully can see, it says add, and it's beeping at me. It's ready to go. I'm going to grab the chef's tongue because the water is warm. So I'll just put the bag in. You want the top of the bag to be above the water. So you kind of have to lay it down a little bit. The Ziploc part though, the zipper part should stay above the water line. And then, so the meat is submerged. Then I'm going to put the lid back on and press the button for start and let it do its job. It will cook for about 2 hours. And I just push the button, and there's the time, and the dial will tell me when it's almost done, as well as it will count down, and then I'll finish the job. Bye. So as you can tell, it's darker out, so this has been working away for about 2 hours, and I'm just going to press cancel because it's done, and I am going to just hit the steam release, although I don't really need to, but it lets me know there's no pressure there. And the next thing I have to do is take off the lid, and this handy lid stands up like that. And I'm going to take the bag out of the inner pot and just let it sit on here for a bit. And I'm going to go and empty this out, and then I'm going to turn it on to sear. Okay, so the next step in this process is to set the multi-cooker to sear. And so I have it on sear, and I added up the total time. It's about 19 minutes, but I only want it on medium temperature. So I've got the 19 set, and you can do high, medium, or low, and I want medium. So then I'm gonna press start, and that's gonna heat up the sear. I'm gonna let that just do that for a minute. And while that's just heating up, we'll just give it a couple minutes there. I have already sliced quite thinly some garlic using actually I use the small handheld spiral and slice. There's also a garlic slicer, or you can cut it really thin with your knife, and some red pepper flakes, which if you don't like your food hot, you could just leave that out or even reduce it. I believe it was about a teaspoon, and we do like things a bit spicy, so I did the full teaspoon. I'm just going to move this over this way a little bit. And so I just put it all in, but you adjust it to your own taste. And then you need 2 tablespoons of olive oil for searing. And I'm just going to put that in the pot here. Whoops, there we go. And that's going to warm up. And the first thing you have to do is sear the red pepper flakes and the garlic. And I'm just going to do that for a couple minutes. The garlic will get nice and fragrant, and that's my first step. So I'm just going to put those in there. I just had that ready to go in the wee prep 1 cup prep bowl, which was kind of handy because you do have time to do the rest of it while you're waiting. And I'm just going to grab my bamboo spoon, and I'll mix that around a little bit. So that's the one thing that's different. There's a couple things different about the multi-cooker, but there are 3 temperatures for sear. So there is a high, a medium, and a low. So low, it's just sweating out things like onions or sauteing a little bit. Medium is what I'm doing right now, and then high, if you want to brown some meats, you would use it on high. I have 1 onion that I quartered and put in the manual food processor because you want to chop it really fine. And this is a great way to chop onions with no tears. So while this is searing, and I'll just stir it again, I'm going to chop this. That's fairly fine. It's very easy to do in this. I only need 1. I don't onions, so I don't need a great big food chopper for this one. And I can show you. There you go. It's chopped up nice and fine. Excuse me, I'm just going to grab my mini skinny scraper so I can clean that out. And I'll stir these around. And then I'm going to add the onions to this. Oh my, you can smell the garlic. It smells really, really tasty. So this is truly a 1-pot meal, at least for the meat part. I have prepared some rice to go with this, which I'm really excited about this one. We haven't had this one before, so it smells absolutely delicious. There's something about garlic. The other thing about the multi-pot is that, of course, you can customize the pressure if you're pressure cooking, but it's also a slow cooker, and it has 2 temperatures for slow cook as well. It has a high and a low for slow cooking, which if you are a quick cooker owner, you'll know that it's 1 temperature there. So the one thing that this multi-pot does that the quick cooker did not do, they do a lot of the same things, but this does the sous vide. There's also a yogurt setting and an egg setting for hard boiling eggs. So I've done some sous vide egg bites, and they're pretty tasty. So I'm just going to put the onion in, and you can hear that sizzling away, I hope. Oopsie doodle. Use one of our handy mini skinny scrapers. This is not a mix and scrape because it's like a classic spatula shape. So I'm going to add that. So this type of cooking is a slow cooking. I gather a lot of restaurants cook their meat this way because you can leave the meat hot, and it's then you grill it up. So if I was doing steaks in this, when they're done, I would just put them on the grill for a little bit and just grill them up, and they will be tender as can be. So I've got the onions in there. I'm just going to cook them for a few minutes until they soften up. And while that's working away, I'm going to open up a can of fire roasted tomatoes. You could also make your own fire roasted tomatoes if you like. I didn't have enough to do this summer in our garden, but you can make delicious fire roasted or flavor like that in the oven. So I'm just going to grab the edge. That's what that little clipper is for. Don't worry if yours is white. Mine is quite a bit older than that. And I'm going to get those ready so you can see that smooth edge can opener. There's no sharp edges, which is really nice. You're going to dump all of the fire roasted tomatoes in, complete can. You don't drain them. And a little bit of the juice from the meat. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't leading you astray. So this is searing up really nicely, actually. So what I'm going to do for serving this is I'm going to plate the rice on my medium entertaining platter. I'm not going to use all of this chicken because it's just the two of us tonight. What I'm going to do is save a couple of the chicken breasts, and I will use them this week. Now they're prepped ahead. So I can make some fajitas with them, or possibly a salad, or if there's leftover sauce from tonight, maybe we'll have this meal again. So these are nice and soft now. So I'm going to dump in the tomatoes. So that's 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes. Whoopsie. And a little bit of the liquid, most of the liquid actually. And to get this out, I'm just going to open the zipper a little bit and pour that in. And then 1/3 of a cup of basil is going to go in here as well. And you can hear that it's stopped. You can't hear that sizzle because it's warming things up again here. Actually, I'll wait and do the basil after the tomatoes get nice and hot. So I'll just let that do its thing and I'll be back. Well, the sauce is just about thickened up a little bit, just enough to serve it. So while it's finishing up, I'm just going to grate a little bit of Parmesan cheese to top it with using the zester, which is awesome for grating cheese. So that might be enough. We'll see. I'll set that to the side. And then I'm just going to show you, if I was plating this, I would either use this platter, which is the medium one, or if it was I was doing all of the 4 chicken breasts, I'd use the large entertaining platter. And you put some sauce on the bottom, and then the chicken and some sauce over top of it. But I am actually going to plate it for us to go right on to our, I'm just going to stir this basil in here, to go onto our plate. So to go with this tonight, I'm just going to set our cheese to the side. I made some rice. I'll grab a plate and I'll put on some rice, just using the wooden spoon, or the silicone wooden handled spoon. And then I'm going to grab some sauce. And I think to make it easier, I'm going to grab the scoop and serve. You could also use a ladle if you like. And I'm just going to sprinkle some of that sauce on the plate. Things look a little interesting color here because we have a very blue light. And to show you, I'm just going to take out 1 chicken breast to start with. It's still nice and hot in here actually. And set that silicone bag to the side. Swipe off my fingers here. And then I'm just going to cut this chicken into slices, and I'll set it on top of I'm just using the chef's knife to do this. You could use the carving knife with the carving fork if you want. You could even, whichever knife is your favorite. And I'll set this on top. And I'm not sure if you can hear that sizzling away there or not, but I'm actually going to stop it because I don't want this to get too thick. So to show you how to turn this off, there's a cancel button, and then there's actually an on-off button at the back that you can actually turn the whole unit off with. I'm going to take some of this chicken, and we also have salad to go with this tonight as well, but I'll just lay this on top like that. I'm going to add a little, that one's a wee bit too big for that corner. I'll add a little bit more sauce. Whoopsie. And then I'm going to sprinkle this with some Parmesan. Now, if we hadn't run out of fresh basil, I'd probably put some fresh basil on that as well. And I'm just going to take just a little bit of just plain sauce and drizzle it on the rice, just because. And there we go. There we have a plate of sous vide fire roasted chicken. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and God bless. Bye. Bon appetit.